The United States and Britain monopolize the forefront of financial civilization in today's world. The United States and Britain have taken the lead in entering the financial civilization, and each has its own expression of financial civilization. The financial civilization of the UK is a classic conservative model, mainly banking and insurance, which effectively helped the Industrial Revolution and trade development of the UK avoid risks. The financial civilization of the United States is mainly represented by the investment model, represented by the stock market and derivative markets. It conforms to the speculative nature of Americans, helps the United States successfully complete the main stages of industrial civilization, such as Western development, railway construction, and canal construction, and quickly enters the new economic civilization from industrial civilization. In addition to having financial civilizations that adapt to their respective national conditions and characteristics, the financial civilization of the United States and Britain has also become a strategic point for them to control the world. National strategic means such as controlling the international banking system, controlling the global hard currency, and mastering the international capital market ensure that the financial civilization of the United States and Britain takes the lead. From a deeper analysis, there are three more reasons. Firstly, the financial surplus in the United States and Britain was the earliest and most severe, and the detachment of the virtual and real economy was the most thorough. In recent years, worldwide financial assets are rapidly rising in multiples, with the United States alone accounting for 1/3 of the global financial scale. Using the stock market for example, the market capitalization of the US and UK stock markets accounts for up 2% of GDP. When the financial surplus reaches a certain level, the virtual economy exists independently of the real economy. Currently, the size of the virtual economy in the United States is more than times that of China, and the size of the virtual economy in the UK is also more than times larger than that of China. Nowadays, global foreign exchange transactions have basically deviated from the operation of the real economy. Among the daily transactions of $1 trillion do not have any trade or production background, purely for the sake of profit-seeking needs of funds. The operation of this part of the virtual economy follows its own laws, such as high vulnerability, conceptual pricing, etc., fully reflecting the game rules of financial civilization, which are completely different from the game rules of industrial civilization. The detachment of excess financial capital from the virtual and real economy provides a prerequisite for the formation of financial civilization. Become stories, that is, who can tell stories, whose stories are more credible, and who has more wealth. At present, investment banks seem to be the king of stories. Whether it's internationally renowned Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, or China's struggling private equity funds, they are all passionate about telling stories, ranging from building friendships with the president and prime minister to hyping up rumors about the chairman of a listed company. The purpose of hype is nothing more than to increase their equivalent. The financial civilization does not exist street independently of other civilizations, but is linked to the first three civilizations. For example, agricultural listed companies graft financial civilization onto agricultural civilization, amplifying the achievements of agricultural civilization several times or tens of times through a financial civilization. Technology-based venture capital funds graft financial civilization onto industrial and information civilization, greatly improving the efficiency of industrial and information civilization. At present, the most successful grafting is still in investment (NKS), including popular IDG technology venture capital funds, VC venture capital, PE private equity investment, etc. Each of the four economic civilizations has its own differences. The older the era, the more complete its knowledge system is. However, at the same time, its knowledge is the efficacy also accelerates the decline. The characteristics of different economic civilizations vary greatly, and the corresponding knowledge systems have significant differences. Judging the development trend of the next civilization based on the knowledge laws of the previous civilization is similar to the Battle of Guangdong and Qiying. At present, the society is generally unaware of the arrival of financial civilization. Conspiracy theory that directed the currency war is easy to control readers in thinking and satisfy their curiosity about mysteries. However, the success of commercial operation cannot hide the defect of its logical derivation. That is, it regards finance as the core of national strategy, and regards national strategy and enterprise strategy as the main contradiction of financial problems. It believes that this is the bullnose that governs financial and capital movements. The weight of conspiracy is gradually increased under this logical derivation. Conspiracy is characterized by suddenness, uncertainty, and unknowability. As a result, it is either a hammer or an anvil. Therefore, as long as the financial air supremacy is mastered, you can play with other governments and banks at will and plunder their wealth, thus integrating finance and conspiracy. Elevating to an unparalleled and supreme position gives the impression that countries are subject to others without engaging in finance, while engaging in finance is like plotting. This is a false proposition, and its arrogance violates the great taboo in the Chonji horse rachi. NG, who would use their own bad horses to confront the rise of developed countries. The core of the national financial strategy is to take a distinctive differentiated path, give full play to the asymmetric advantage of resources, and avoid path dependence to turn air supremacy into self-destructive power. The characteristic of the theory of financial original sin is to deconstruct the new economic civilization based on the qualitative analysis of the times and to address the confusion in the state of order. Conduct holographic full-dimensional research on various variables, attempting to find regular factors and provide new analytical coordinates for solving complex situations. In view of this, the Fokker think tank believes that finance is a comprehensive manifestation of competition among countries, and at least politics, culture, technology, national security, international relations, etc. are also affecting the operation of finance, and there are not many conspiracies involved. With the increasing efforts of various countries to rescue the market, the dilemma of deleveraging while also amplifying liquidity has emerged. For example, major countries have allocated trillions of dollars in emergency aid each year, which seems to have increased unabated and may lead to untreated old wounds and new diseases. And with the continuous evaporation of currency, the original sin of finance has been playing a role. This book is an excerpt from Foucault analysis published since, as a specialized service for government departments and enterprises. The internal research report provides decision-making support focusing on objective, neutral, and empirical analysis, interpretation, and trend analysis. Therefore, the articles are all based on economic reality as the research starting point, although they are independent. It also weakens the vigilance of relevant parties towards the international financial strategy hidden behind the financial crisis, which began with Soros selling short the Thai currency. From this perspective, it is the openness and complexity of the system, as well as the enormous imagination space of currency value, that objectively determines finance, the arrival of civilization's fate. At the same time, the stability brought about by complexity and the waves brought by Chinese-style closing positions make Chinese people who are accustomed to gradual and passive correction subjectively unclear and unprepared for this new fate. However, in the middle of the management's balance of the asymmetry that arises in reality, in the spontaneous real practice of the private sector in addition to the stock market, there are also the emergence of private finance such as Guanqi and Zhejiang Fund, which has accelerated the process of financial opening up, gradually separated the real economy from the virtual economy, and formed financial awareness and rules. It can be seen that China is unconsciously entering the door of financial civilization, and the muddled state dragged by reality is expected to continue for a long time, due to a lack of understanding and reflection on the new civilization. The original regulatory methods have still been followed. However, as regulation has been repeatedly falsified, traditional theories and empirical methods have been overturned one by one, and all sectors of society will gradually recognize the situation and understand financial civilization, ownership superstition and state motivation. In the first half of GDP grew by %. Foreign trade showed a year-on-year decline. Inflation was high, and small and medium-sized enterprises were struggling. Bankruptcy has become a trend. Regarding this situation, the relevant parties are both very vigilant and very anxious. Based on continuous meetings and discussions, they have decided to change the macro tuning from dual prevention to one protection and one control, and have made sufficient articles on protection. In terms of policy rescue itself, it is understandable, but if analyzed from the perspective of macro adjustment history, today's scene is precisely the period of macro adjustment back then, and the current situation proves the remarkable achievements of macro adjustment. The reason why we dare not recognize the macro adjustment results is that the protection and pressure distribution of macro adjustment policies is uneven, which is basically characterized by the protection of state-owned enterprises and the laissez-faire of private enterprises, starting from the tight monetary and land supply in this end of regulation. The GEM has been delayed. Private enterprises have no access to financing, and state-owned enterprises and central enterprises can queue up to go public. The vast number of low-end enterprises in the industrial upgrading have completely lost their protection, and central enterprises take the opportunity to regain lost land and complete industry monopolies and market division, such as telecommunications. This result naturally cannot be accepted calmly by private enterprises. Therefore, the political foundation that can ensure the transformation of economic growth mode is fairness and justice. And based on this, policies can be revised the intention and effectiveness of the measures. Otherwise, the political show of Yigong Heilong will greatly undermine the government's credibility and make the cost of trial and error increasing. High. A prerequisite for establishing a political foundation based on fairness and justice is the establishment of a new concept of the country and a new concept of the people. That is, the understanding of the state transcends the violent machine in the stage of class conflict but is independent of social entities, represents the common interests of all members of society, and takes the establishment of rules and regulations, maintenance of rules, and provision of public services as the main national motivation. Only when the national motivation is pure and selfless can the political principle of fairness and justice not be excluded. The new concept of the people is to restore the people from abstract concepts and exploitable slogans to specific individuals and interest groups. Only through the evolution of negation and negation can the people-oriented people find a realistic career. And the specific is a false proposition, and its arrogance violates the great taboo in the Chonji horse racing. Who would use their own bad horses to confront the rise of developed countries? The core of the national financial strategy is to take a distinctive differentiated path, give full play to the asymmetric advantage of resources, and avoid path dependence to turn air supremacy into self-destructive power. The characteristic of the theory of financial original sin is to deconstruct the new economic civilization based on the qualitative analysis of the times, and to address the confusion in the state of order, conduct holographic full-dimensional research on various variables, attempting to find regular factors and provide new analytical coordinates for solving complex situations. In view of this, the Fokker think tank believes that finance is a comprehensive manifestation of